Playboy, you made that beat.
It's your boy E. Tally. We back at it again. It is Super Sports Media, high school basketball talk. I just changed the name, fellas. But I got with me
Richard DeLeon, and I am repping my Super Sports Media t-shirt.
This is Mike Daniel, represent Alamo City All-Star Sportsplex. Sitting here with Cabin Fever, going crazy.
Well, before we get started with basketball talk, let's do a little bit of wellness check. How you doing, man?
Well, hold on. Why do you have cabin fever? Please explain.
Oh, yeah. You can do that first. I just figured
exactly. Yeah, you can't. That's what you got to do first. You got to ask them to explain itself. Because, again, due to HIPAA, I don't want to violate anybody personal PPI.
By me asking how, that's not going to, it's just, I just asked how he's.
Hey, man.
I'm surprised he didn't put the S on and call it HIPAA.
Any brown spells.
Ow, stop making me laugh. Ow.
So I got in trouble. I had to tell everybody the story why I do that. But no, but again, it's not about me today. It's not about me and my Vets shirt. My Vets shirt. Go ahead. It's all about you, Mike. What's going on? What happened? Why are you in pain and why are you cabin feverish?
I'll keep a long story short. Last Friday, November 15th, I was blessed with the privilege of donating a kidney to one of my childhood life friends that was in stage 4 kidney failure. And all tests lined up, all results lined up, everything matched up. And God allowed it to happen and allowed us both to see it through. And no more dialysis for him as the kidney is working and has given him new life. I'm on full rest and recovery for this first week. It's driving me crazy. I almost broke my cabin fever, and Eric almost supported me breaking my cabin fever and almost came and picked me up last night. Oh, I got to get the hell out this house. But yeah, so I'm taking this week to rest and recover and just having a life reset here at 43 years old. So that is why I'm on cabin fever and why I am resting and recovering, folks.
We had a conversation earlier today, and you let me know the fact that you're home now and you're feeling better. But you said you received a text, I believe it was yesterday, Tuesday or Monday, and it was the happiest text that you ever received in the last, let's say, 6 months to a year. Can you share that text, please?
Well, a lot of people, when they ask me, why, what made you do it? It's not family. Why? Even my own mom and dad. I have a history and a past that is not so favorable in life, is not so favorable in the eyes of others. And it's something that I struggle with on a day-to-day basis. And when you make the comments of wanting to be better each and every day, everybody says be 1% better every day. Well, there's 365 days in a year. If you're 1% better every day, you're going to be fully better in less than a year. And I don't think that's a real statement. So I always say, just try to be 1,000th, percent better each and every day. When this opportunity came before me, I needed a win on my side. I needed something. I needed something positive for my world, my life. For people to look at you with a different lens, a different scope, my own children, to understand that, you know what, even though you make mistakes, if you want to make a change, truly make that change. And so when this opportunity came, I took advantage of it, and God saw me through it. And, now here I am, a full life reset, and, you know, just taking time right now, just taking time.
And tell everybody that text you received from your guy. Remember?
So, when you're going through it, the way that I live, when I pray on something and I release it, I leave it in God's hands. I heard a sermon a few years ago about true and total faith. Once you pray on it, once you release it, once it's in God's hands, leave it alone. So way back in February, when I started this process, when I prayed and released and I started this process, I didn't think about it ever again. And so you don't really think about what it is you're doing. I received all the reverence, all the text messages, all the shout outs, tons of support and love, more support and love than I'd ever received. And I'm going to be honest, folks, I needed that. Like I needed that. And that Friday night, it's about 12 something in the morning. My dad and I had just finished watching, who played that night? Was it the Lakers and Spurs? We were watching somebody. One of the games had just finished. And I get a text from Chad, and Chad Contageorgis, that's the recipient, and he texted me. He said, bro, I still don't know what made you go through with this. He's like, but man, Ken Folk, I'm over here pissing like a racehorse. He's like, and I owe it all to you. And so receiving that message, to know that, hey, it worked, it's really making a difference, I needed that. And so he needed it, I needed it, and life is good, man. LG, life is good.
And this is perfect, because this is our last show before Thanksgiving. I think we won't be having the show next week because Eric's gonna be.
Oh no, we doing the show.
Oh,
We doing the show. I'm on the road. I'm on the road, baby. I'm visiting my nephew down in I think it's Fort Moore now.
Well, you
Used to
said
be
we was
Fort
gonna take a
Benning.
couple weeks off earlier.
No, we don't take no days off, man. Come on, man. Like, I'm in the. Hey, man, that's why I'm. Hey, listen.
all
Hey,
right.
there's no
Well,
days off for me, baby.
But either way, this is good message for Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is. Yes, good point. Good point. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is what it's
Yes,
all
sir.
about. We give thanks for life. We give thanks for friends. We give thanks for people in our corner. And we, I'm sure, other people, not just you and your friend, but I'm sure a lot of people out there do have somebody that laid their life on the line for them. And that's just a beautiful story, man. And I really, man, I mean, I can't tell you how overwhelmed I was just knowing that you were doing it, not for a family member, but for a friend. And that's just the kind of friend you are. That's the kind of person you are, man. So, like I said, I wish you a speedy recovery, not only for the cabin fever, but just because you deserve it.
Thanks, Rich.
Well, hey, man. While we here, let's get down to the nitty gritty real quick. Anything going on at the Mighty Sportsplex over there this weekend coming up, or last weekend? I know you were out. You were out of the what's it called? So
last weekend, I believe, was volleyball. This coming weekend, I believe Full Court Athletics is holding their Turkey Jam tournament.
okay.
I believe they're using gym. I've got to look. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, business as usual. I'm most excited about the MaxFit, piece. That weight room is bumping and jumping. Pickleball's bumping and jumping. We've got some daytime open gym now for the grown men that still want to come and get their hoop on. And so just, making it a true sportsplex, and what it is. Everybody thinks it's just volleyball, thinks it's just, no, it's a sportsplex for all. And so just seeing all of the operations, happening is great to see from one of the managers, places that I am.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, what about you, Rich? Anything going on there with Premier and selling
real quick,
houses and insurance?
real quick, I think we always ask Mike what's going on at the Sportsplex. I think we need to call that segment "What's Happening in Mike's World."
You
And
call it that? Okay.
really, Mike's World, uh, it was just that was anticlimactic for me after hearing him talk about last Friday. Like normally, I'm all interested in what's going on at the Sportsplex. This time, I was like, who cares, man? This guy just had surgery, man. You know, so we'll call that Mike's World.
There you go. There you go. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. And
No,
what about you, Rich?
Premier, man, we're you know, I'm gearing up for next spring already. I'm starting to do some planning. We're gonna start doing some fundraising. Man, just excited. I'm watching a lot of the kids, you know, on the Premier team going out there and playing their high school seasons and stuff. Proud of every single one of them. You know, just getting ready, man. You and I have been talking a little bit about what's coming up this spring and summer, and I got to tell you, I've kind of been sharing some news with some of my my families and stuff, and I'm going to keep it under wraps right now. But there we got some exciting things coming up, and I'm looking forward to it. Really.
Me too. Me too.
Hey, Rich, since we're talking about Premier, is your group one of the groups that made that Puma circuit that I saw Premier advertise and is joining next spring and summer?
My group is choosing not to do that Puma circuit because you know, last summer at the Summer Hoop Fest, you know, Alamo City hoops, the Summer Hoops Fest, we got a chance to play against OFG from down in the valley. They're a Puma team, very good team. They're a very well coached team. And just talking to their head coach, I was wondering why they weren't in Indianapolis that weekend. Why were they here in San Antonio torturing all the teams here when they could have been up in Indianapolis in the Puma circuit, since they've done really well? And he talked about how financially straining that circuit was for his families, and they decided just to come to San Antonio that weekend. And you know, I want my families to get exposure, and I want them to, and they will, in the events we'll be playing in, the circuits we're going to be playing in. But you know, I don't want to put them at a financial strain.
So I want to say this to you only because, you know, we're brothers of life and of this basketball circle.
Mm-hmm.
The locations that Puma had in 2024 were not as favorable for Texas families.
Right.
You may want to go look at the locations that they have this year, and I'm sharing this information with you for good reason. You may want to go look at the locations, because the thing about it is, price-wise, they're charging same as Prep Hoops and Gassos. The organizational aspect of it, the tiering aspect of it, the competition aspect of it, the exposure aspect of it. Rich, go take a look at the locations that they have this coming year and just give it some thought.
I'm gonna give it some thought. I don't know about the requirements as far as buying gear and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just
just call me. Call me if you need some info. I don't go public with my stuff, but just call me if you need some info, brother.
Are y'all doing it?
Hey man, my man sound like he wanted the salesman. Are you
it sounds like
Puma paying for this? Hey, look, I'm looking around. Is Puma paying for this segment here?
Hey man,
he didn't
have a surgery. He had a Puma tattooed on his butt cheek. It sounds like
what it is, Rich. If Premier is going that way, you have a solid group that you've had for a while now. I would hate for you to miss out on an opportunity that can happen for you guys. Yep. That's all. Just take a look at it.
Oh, I will. We'll hook up, you and I, and we'll talk about. We still have time to.
Talk about get to February 1.
Yeah. I shouldn't say I shot it down, but I was leaning against it. I mean, like I said, there's other, like I said, Prep Hoops. You know, Eric and I have talked about that, and there's a couple other opportunities. I believe, you know, I was talking to Rick about. There's another circuit that he's proposing to me as well. But you know, all in due time. Either way, we got to do our fundraising and make sure we get off on the right track, because if we don't get off on the right track, none of that matters. It's going to all come out of my family's pockets, and I don't want that for them. So I am, I'll give it a listen.
Real quick, Rich.
Just because it's you, because I do respect you that much to where I'll definitely listen to that.
Real quick, Rich. I believe the Nationals for Puma was in Arizona.
Okay.
And as far as OFG, yes. What happened is they did qualify as one of the top programs of gold. I think it's a gold or whatever the top tier was. Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right. When it got down to, hey, affording to travel over there, they explained that to me also. You were right. They were destroying teams up in the Michigan Concepcion.
OFG Next Pro. When they called me, I was like, "The hell are y'all doing here?" And they told me the same thing. And so they didn't plan properly.
They were next level guys. They did do the fundraising, but that's good stuff there, Mike and Rich.
Hey,
anything else?
My group. Eric, you watched us play quite a bit last year. Mike, you watched us play, and you played against us last year too. My group, we could be down by 15, and you blink an eye, and we're tied up or down by 1 or up by 1. And we're back in it. That was one game. That was one game where we weren't able to pull that out of the hat. They were that good. I mean, they were an excellent team. It didn't matter if you were inside their shirt. They were hitting a 23-footer. It doesn't matter if you had your hand in their face. They were legit. That's why I was like, man, what are y'all even doing here, man?
That group's a mix of 27s and 26s, or 26s and 27s, right? Yeah. They have two kids that again, they are next level. They are really, they're good.
You know what? I was happy that they decided to come to San Antonio, because Mike and yourself and myself have talked about it on this show in the past. We're not going to duck the smoke. Like I want to play against every good team that we can, because it's always going to be a measuring stick. I want every game that we play in to be a measuring stick. I don't want to play against a team that doesn't belong in that division and that we're going to beat by 30. That's not conducive to our development, So to me, we got a lot out of that game. We got spanked, but we got a lot out of it. We learned a lot about ourselves, because at the end of the day, we played to the very end. And like I said, we didn't cut it down to single digits, but we fought back in that second half to make it look a little bit more respectable than it could have been. So
hey, that's it. That's it. So let's jump right into it.
Let's get it.
High school, the rankings are out. I got a chance to watch Vets. Our game of the week was Vets versus Brandeis. Great game. I will say this. I was wrong of anything I ever said anything about Vets. If I ever say anything negative, I was so wrong. Vets plays a very well-organized game plan. Coach came out there. Listen, hey, man. Coach had those guys playing well. They looked really, really good. And I just wish they could have won a few more games early in the season, to where as though we could have had them on the list and it just moved up the list. But they took a L, I believe, early in the season. And that's why we kind of didn't have them on. We had them near the end. They look real good right now. And they convincingly beat Brandeis. Convincingly. Brandeis, Brandeis is good. Brandeis is a solid team, man. They shoot the ball so well. Ooh, it was nice. It was a good game. It was a good heavyweight fight. The score was 61 to 54. 61 to 54. Vets was there. They DJ Jordan, a young man can play. A young man. When we interviewed him earlier, and when I talked to him about making that switch, he had it last night. He played very aggressive to the point to where as though he wasn't afraid to not take a shot. He wasn't afraid to attack the basket. He had this one move where he drove the basketball, did a beautiful jump stop, lean forward, got the defender to jump, lean forward, scoop layup. Oh, it was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful play. Beautiful, beautiful. And but again, Brandeis didn't lay down. They didn't lay down. They're heavy hitters. They came out and played well. Their leading scorer was of course Montoya. Carmen Gonzalez contribute. He had Montoya had 3, 5, 7. That's 10. He had 26. Gonzalez had 7, and then Bird. First time seeing Bird. I don't know if y'all know that young man, but
DJ Bird, yeah, he
DJ Bird's a baseball player.
Yeah, he's got offers for baseball. He'll play with me when he's not at ID camps or playing pitching in the summer. But he's an excellent slashing big man that hits the boards hard, is aggressive.
He has 15. He had 15.
Yeah.
So those were the guys who scored all the buckets for the most part. And then Mr. Taylor, he had 2. But again, you know, playing a team like that, you need more point production. You know, when you play a vets, everybody got to contribute.
Braylon Taylor, he's a sophomore, by the way.
Okay. Leading scorer for vets was Jamichael Moore. Michael knows this young man. I know him also. He had a heck of a game. He controlled the boards. He actually shot a 3. He stretched the floor a little bit. It was kind of different seeing him play this new role that he has with this team where, you know, just watching him play, he's like, wow, okay, this young man, if he keeps developing the way he is, he's going to be a good prospect next year.
Yeah.
He's 26. He's going to be a prospect next year. He had 17. He had 17. L Gold, he had 2, 4, 5, 7. He had 9. Jay Neal had 2. Jay Jones had 1, and then DJ had 2, 4, 5, 8. 8 and 4 is 12. Had 12. You know, and B Haley, he also had 3, 6, 9, and he had 13. So a little bit more balance from vets. You know, as far as more scores scored, and but again, overall, it was a great game. It went all the way down to the end, and vets just pulled away. Their defense and Brandeis just couldn't find the bucket. Did you happen to see that O'Connor game, Rich?
I was able to watch some of it. They did lose 67-54, but I had to step away because Ryan was inducted into the National Honor Society.
Oh, beautiful moment.
Yeah. So I had to step away for a little bit, but it was a double-digit loss. Steel, from what I saw, they're just a really solid team. I mean, there's not a lot of weaknesses on that Steel team. I mean, they shoot the ball well, they defend well, they rebound well. Last night was no indication of how good O'Connor is, more than it was, Steel from what I watched. I was able to watch a chunk of that game, and Steel is good. O'Connor's good too, but I'm sure on another night, O'Connor could probably, take it against them. But last night, I guess, wasn't that night.
Okay. And I got a chance to see another game. I got a chance to see the Buffaloes play the Rattlers. So we saw Clemens and Reagan. Great game. That young man, Christian Dupree, he did it again. Another 17-point game.
Yeah, Dupree.
Exactly. Hey man, that dude right there. I don't have their stat sheet because I didn't feel right because I didn't watch the whole game, so I didn't feel right trying to report. First half or parts of the game I missed, but the part I did see, oh man, that young man's all over the court. He has a great team, supporting cast if you want to call them that. And again, I call them the young guns with the seasoned coach. that's how they're playing right now. They're young, a bunch of 26s. I don't think he has any seniors on the team. If he does, I gotta look. I think he has one, matter of fact. But man, they play well. They play real well together. It's shocking to hear they lost to Sotomayor. That's why technically if Clemens would have took care of business against Soto and beat Reagan, they'd be number 4 or 5. They'd be tough. They'd be 4. They'd be 4. Yeah, because they would have beat more top teams at the time that each time they played them. Starting off with Johnson, right? They beat Johnson first. Then they went over to play TMI, beat TMI, knocked them off. And then again, all they had to do was take care of business with Soto. That would have just kind of left them right there in that holding pattern, and then turn around and beat the Rattlers. That'd have been 4 quality wins, because remember, Soto used to be ranked at one time. We had him ranked on our list as one of the top teams, I believe, in preseason, if I'm correct. And Soto just, took some L's. They lost to Johnson, and it was somebody else they lost to, but took 2 hard L's and got them bounced right on out. So after they beat Clemens, I was thinking they were going to bounce back and start getting on a run, but no, it didn't happen on Tuesday. They took an L yesterday also. And then the second one is, I hate to talk about this one, but I have to, because, guys.
I'll talk about it for you, because I know what you're about to say.
Judson and Clark, man.
Yeah, Clark defeated Judson 52-46.
I don't even. You had to say the score?
It's a close game.
You didn't have to say this. Did you have to say the score?
You said it for the other 2 games you spoke of. So yes, in fairness and consistency, yes, he had to say the score.
Oh, we didn't have to say the scores, dog. We could just say they won. That's all.
We were following our leader.
Hey, a lot of love to Judson, a lot of love to their coaching staff, a lot of love to their players. But hey, Clark, 52, Judson 46. I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't treat them like everybody else.
No. I'm treating them like everybody else. That's why I'm mentioning the fact they lost. Think about it. I'm treating them just like everybody else, and that's why I'm making sure everyone knows they lost. So I'm not
46.
I just didn't feel we had to say the score. That's all. That's all.
Well, only because you said the score of the Brandeis and Vets game, and only because you called the score of the Clemens and Reagan game, we had to say the score of that game, sir.
And we said the score of the O'Connor Steel game too.
Yeah, we had to say the score, sir.
We did have Coach Martin on the show, and Coach Martin said he had a special group. He mentioned that. He said, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna surprise a few people." He said that. He said that on I don't know if he said it on air, but I know he told me that. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna surprise a few people." Yes.
So if you think back to our, when we were in the middle of our spring and summer basketball talk, that Clark team, that's that SA Hoops Elite group. They have a hell of a senior class, of leadership and veterans that have been in a tough district the last couple of years. So they've been battle tested, and now
they got a mixture. They got Brandeis too, because they got all 3 schools. They got Clark, they got Brandeis, and O'Connor. Right, Rich?
Yeah, they do. They got 3 starters. I mean, they got 3 starters at O'Connor that played.
But that's what I'm saying. They've got that SA Hoops Elite group is made of. Just think, you just got to talking about Brandeis, you just got to talking about O'Connor. Now we're talking about Clark, and they have that leadership. You know what I'm saying? When and I know 1 year doesn't seem like a lot in this game, but from junior year to senior year, there's a difference when you're top of the food chain and when you are the senior class. And those Clark boys, those are those senior boys now that they've been in it. They had a rough season last year, and now they're handling business, and we talked about this season coming, and this season is opened up to be everything we knew it was going to be. And that is shifts moving, furniture moving, game changers, game like wows, each and every night. And I love it. I love when I go to do the stats at 2:30 in the morning, and I see that number 5, number 7, number 9, number 10, and number 11 all lost. and we got
Whoa,
to
whoa,
pick
whoa.
up.
He's not happy y'all lost. He's not happy y'all lost.
No, no,
Happy to
no.
see that he get to move some stuff around. That's what he's saying. Okay.
He's,
I
he's
just
happy about
the competitive nature of it. The competitive nature of the list is what I'm talking about. Is what I'm happy about. To the point that we knew I said it all summer. You cannot take a night off. There are no nights off this year in high school basketball. Every coach that we've talked to said the same thing. The olden days, you knew you had one or two district games, one or two seasonal games that were going to be walkaways, right? There's no nights off this season.
Mm-hmm.
None. Any given Friday, any given Tuesday, any given Friday, your head could get rung.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love it. I can't wait because we're not done. This Thursday, Friday, them tournaments, there are some San Antonio teams going at each other's necks that list gonna be shifting again, and so I'm excited for it. Again, blessings and good health to all of our area teams that are competing and getting it in. What I love the most and what I've been catching is coaches are really having to coach right now because that talent field is so balanced out and spaced out. You know, it's always, I'm not gonna say easy, but it's easy to coach when you've got a powerhouse. When you got even playing fields and you got to make in-game, on-spot adjustments, in-moment adjustments, referee adjustments, because you got to adjust to all of that in the moment. That's when coaches shine through. And so that's what we're seeing a lot of happening right now this season, fellas.
Well, let me talk real quick about one more game I saw, and that was the
it. Can
Davenport. Go ahead,
I,
Rich.
can I talk about Clark real quick though?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. No, let's talk.
There's actually a junior named Jaden Flemings, and I think he's making noise right now. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have the stats in front of me for that game because my computer went down. I'm having to charge it, but if I'm not mistaken, he led the team in scoring last night by I think he was the only one that had high double digits in that game. So I would be again, I wouldn't want to talk about that game without saying, hey, this kid actually is one of the dogs in the city that's going to get it done. Because Clark is going to be good, and he's going to be one of the reasons why they are.
Okay. Yeah, and shout out to all the coaches who utilize their tool of making sure Max Prep is up to date, i.e. the scores and also the player stats. That's really, really great for us because we can't be at every game, but we can get a snapshot of how well a player played by their stats. So shout out to everyone utilizing those tools. Again, that helps us out and it helps, your players being recognized and making sure, it's not just across the city, but it gets to be for the state at this time. Because again, Max Prep does a phenomenal job of making sure all those stats get accumulated, not just for, our city, but for the whole state of Texas.
Hey, Rich, your guy Jaden Flemings had 22 and 7 last night.
22.
There you go. Yeah, he pulled it up. He put up them stats. But hey, real quick, I wanted to go to Monday's game. I don't know if you guys were tracking. I don't know if anybody was tracking this game. It was Davenport, the Wolves versus South San Bobcats. And listen, hey, when Mike, you always, you're very very, very keen and you lock in about how important it is to make free throws. You talk about it a lot. You mentioned on several shows, and I'll just throw this stat out there. The Bobcats missed 12 free throws, lose the game by 1 point, 60-59. They had a player. They had a player that, man, he played his butt off. He was about to. I was lining them up, getting ready to go talk to him and become the player of the game. I was, making sure I had my numbers right, my stats right at the scores table, and again, the kid name that won it for the Davenport Wolves was Justin McKinney, and he came out there and nailed a floater and put the game away. And it was a heartbreaker. Because again, make any of those free throws, all you got to do is make what, 5 of them, you win the game. The game that never goes to overtime, and you take care of business. So again, another very important matter of making free throws or just practicing and making sure you knock those free throws down late in the game. So
Definitely.
I want to definitely, because, but again, South San played they played a great game. They played a great game. Just didn't make the free throws. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, Italy, you're the veteran on this ship, and I want to disagree with something you just said.
What?
You spoke on making free throws late in the game, but and that's the thing that everybody forgets. Those free throws in the first 2 minutes of the game are just as important as the free throws in the last 12 seconds of the game when teams are fouling to put you on the line to get the ball back and get another shot at it. Everybody forgets the opening 2 minutes of a basketball game, those careless turnovers because you didn't get up and get stretched, those layups that you missed because you were goofing off in warm-ups because you took a team lightly, the free throws you missed because you weren't locked in yet until you got punched in the mouth. It's not just late in the game. Everything matters. I tell my guys all the time, control what you can control. Every time somebody comes to me to talk about referees, you want to know something? I said it before and I'll say it again. Can referees change the temperature of a game? Yes. But at the end of the day, how many free throws did you miss? How many layups did you miss? How many turnovers did you have? We're not even going to talk about the careless three-point attempts that you shouldn't have been shooting. How many layups? How many free throws? How many turnovers? You talk to me about that, then we can talk about misjudgment calls from a referee. And unfortunately, for the South San fans, like you said, I don't want to hear crap about officials from that game because I've talked to a couple people from that game. I don't want to hear crap about officials from that game. When I saw, well, whatever you're feeling about the referees, they put your boys at the line that they had an opportunity to miss 12. And so,
No, I didn't say if I said late in the game I misspoke. I was just saying free throws period because again, you had 5 free. I'm saying if you make 5 of those free throws, you win the game because again you miss total of 13 total free throws as well. 13. Yeah, you missed 15 free throws.
Yeah,
you missed
there's the
15
game.
free throws.
It's no reps to talk about.
And I'm looking at the stat sheet, so I'm talking early in the game. You missed 4 free throws early in the first half. No, 5, excuse me. 5 free throws early in the first half. So you make, again, like I go back to that number again. You go to that number 5 again, you make those 5 free throws, guess what? You have a different outcome.
Look, I tell people all the time, here's what I do with my guys. I take the number of layups that we missed, right? So let's say we missed 12 layups, right? 12 and 2 is 24. That's 24 points. I cut it in half because we're not going to be perfect. So let's be realistic. So 12 points we left on the table. Now take 12 free throws that we missed. Okay, that's 12 possible points. Cut it in half. Now that's 6 points. So you got 12 points, you got 6 points. That's 18 points. Now throw in 14 turnovers, right? 14 turnovers is a possibility of 28 points that we didn't even get a shot at. That's just saying that it's all twos. Cut that in half. That's 14 points. So now when you talk about 12, 6, and 14, that's 32 points of things that we controlled, that we didn't take care of. So when we lose by 1, I don't want to hear crap about a referee.
Facts.
Yeah. And it's like we talk about like in football, when somebody goes for 2 when they shouldn't go for 2 and they don't get it, they're chasing that point the rest of the game. When you miss free throws, you're kind of chasing those points the rest of a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Thanks. But real quick, let's shift gears real quick. Enough of that negative talk. Just wanted to ask you both, if you look at the actual rankings real quick, who do you have on or who's on the rankings that's surprising you right now, Mike? And then I'll go to you, Rich.
Surprising?
Yeah, just like, oh man, they up there. Okay, that's good to see them there.
So it's not so much who's on here that's surprising because we knew the talent pool was there throughout the city. We knew folks were going to be hungry. For me, it's not surprising who's on the list. It's surprising who's not on the list for me.
Okay, Stephen A. Smith. Can you just
They're
question? Change it around. Look, Stephen A. Look, man. Just don't be stealing the segment. Make the segment any newer than what it is. Just answer the question, and so we can move on. Okay.
okay. So to answer your question,
Mm-hmm.
nobody on this list surprises me.
Okay. So since you just made a new topic, can you let me know who's missing then? Who's missing?
There are two teams that stand out in particular.
Okay.
Sotomayor and Johnson are two teams
Ouch.
that aren't on this list
Ouch.
that we expected just a little
Mm.
bit of better output from those two schools.
Okay.
And like I said, the teams that are here, take a look at South San, Winston Churchill, teams that are playing basketball, St. Anthony's, right? Central Catholics. We knew that these teams were capable, one, because of the program that's being run, two, the coaches that are at the helm. So nobody on this 25 is surprising because we knew what kind of season it was going to be. It's more of who's not here. I'm not going to say disappointing, but I hope they can turn it around, to say the least.
Okay, Rich, what about you? Who's
Man,
on there that's surprising you?
I'm not going to say anything because I had the exact same thoughts that Mike did.
I got Shannon Sharp.
No,
talking Stephen A. Smith on my show.
Stop making me laugh.
You want me to do the Shannon Sharp look?
The football guy and the beat writer, both of them on the show today.
No. I'm just saying, like, exactly what Mike said. It's like I can't really say anybody on that list really surprised me.
Okay.
Because if you're in this top 25 list, I think you've kind of earned your way up there. And for me to even say that any of these teams surprise me, it would be, to me, it's like, I don't know. That might feel like a little slap in the face just because they've earned their way on this. Now, I was going to go the other route. I was going to say Soto and Johnson as well, because Johnson, they were pretty high on your preseason list as well.
Yes, because I was high. The talent they have,
yeah,
and just knowing what Coach Liver had, it was like, hey man, you're seeing. I was thinking, I'm gonna see them in the top 5, no less than the top 10. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry, I got to be Mike Daniel. Sorry, bro, I love you. They weren't just high on your preseason list. I remember having a conversation. I'm not going to talk about what team they was going to be playing, but they were still high on your in-season list after they started their demise, and you were still high on them. I'm not going to call who it was against, but they still had you. That's why in particular Johnson more than Soto. Soto's in a barn burner area, but Johnson more than anybody stands out to me because of you.
Well, look.
Now, if we want to flip some teams around, which I'm not going to do, I would just say I feel like a team like Harlan, they probably deserve to be inside the top 10. But the problem is I don't know which one of those 6 through 10 I would take out.
Well, real quick, only thing is Harlan has their schedule this year in reference is to prepare them for the playoffs. So a lot of their non-district stuff is out of the state, out of the city. So with it being out of the city, you don't really get to see them. So they're not playing a lot. They only play right now 2 San Antonio teams, if I'm correct.
Right.
So with them only playing 2 teams, Wagner, and then they played Antonian. So that's all they played. They didn't play anybody else right now. And then when they get back from this tournament they're in, I don't think anybody else is out there. When they get back, I believe they're going to play Brennan.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that they can, they can take some hits and some lumps before they even get rolling, because district starts early for district 27, I believe.
Yeah.
So, but real quick, but for me, I'm just going to call it out, and the reason I'm saying this is because I'm going to give my reasoning behind it. It's Churchill. So for Churchill to have the start they're having, I think it's a phenomenal job, and this is why I love sports. Again, last year they were 5th in their district, in District 28. They had a 9-7 district record, and I'm not saying they were one of the bottom feeders, but again, they still did a good job. But they were one of the lower teams in their district. So with them having that, and then now to see them what they're doing right now, it's just like, okay, hey man, 7-1, and they actually played some, some decent teams. So it's not like that 7-1 record is not a good record. They beat Canyon, they beat Stevens, they beat Southwest, they beat Warren, they beat Nixon. They lost to Jay, but they lost to Jay by quite a bit. They got the butt whipped by Jay, no offense. And then they beat a great, well-coached Bernie Champion. So again, it's not like they're not battle tested. And so to have a 7-1 record right now compared to what they did last year is like, hey man, they're really surprising me. And that's what you want to see though. You want to see teams that, not had, great records, but kind of bounce back and get the ball rolling in a productive, in a great start to the season. Because here we are next month. Guess what? District play. Hey guys, that's it, man. They get the ball rolling. They have their first district game. I stand corrected. They don't start their district playing. Yeah, December 20th. I was right. December 20th. They started right before Christmas. So, and they started against Madison. So, if they keep rolling the way they're rolling, man, they're going into district play with some wins.
Yeah.
The first two games is Madison and Clark.
Shout out to Churchill for sure. That was the one that I made mention of. But back to your Johnson group, they have a couple of games coming up that they can turn it around or just fold. They got East Central, and then they got New Bronze. New Bronze fails, and so they have a couple of games that they had a great win against a tough Jefferson group, and they actually beat them very comfortably, like spanked Jefferson, and so that was a good win that they needed in the right direction for the next couple of games that they have. And so again, it just goes back to the tale that we've been stating. It's going to be a hell of a high school basketball season. District coming up, man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
All these teams put their socks on one at a time, just like Mike likes to say.
The shoes on one at a time, huh?
Man, so I got one question then. If he's Stephen A. and I'm Shannon Sharp, who are you, Skip Bayless?
Man, please don't do him like that.
No, man. No, I like to consider myself the Ryan Clark of the crew.
Oh, you're the Ryan Clark. Okay. I was going to call you Dominique Foxworth.
Okay, that's a good one. I like Dominique.
All right, we'll go with that then.
He's a good one. He's good. What's up?
Hey, but can I not be Stephen? I'd rather be Shannon. Yeah, I don't want to be Stephen A.
Well, only reason why, hey, I'm not gonna say no names, Rich, but someone mentioned today that every segment, if we go back and watch the tape, Rich slides a football reference in every segment.
Okay, so who said it?
I can't tell you.
Come on, it's not like
I'm gonna tell you what the two guys you're talking to right now.
Man, I'd rather be Richard Sherman, because that guy he does his homework. Very, very, very educated, very articulate.
Yes.
And I'd rather be Richard Sherman, because that dude, I like hearing him on shows. They didn't like him on the shows. Ooh, they did not like Richard Sherman on the shows.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Michael Irvin. Look.
Well, hold on. He wiped his face.
Hey, you're gonna be Michael Irvin. I don't want you to be Michael Irvin, because that means you got to do something else in between too.
Exactly. In between the episodes.
Hey, take yourself off camera first, though. Take yourself off camera.
Make sure you wipe your face off, okay?
I don't. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but no, man. So this weekend, real quick, as far as tournaments that I know of here in the city, and you guys can, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know we have the Seguin Matador tournament in Seguin. We've been invited to the South Sand tournament.
Yep, that's always a bar. That tournament's always a barn burner.
It will be there all 3 days too. I'm being there all 3 days. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then Sacks have a tournament, the San Antonio Christian Academy.
Yeah. They
have a tournament over there too. And then I'll be there tomorrow at 2:00 to watch the Alamo Heights.
Yes, please call me, because Chris Roche, since he came public. So when you go public and you put yourself out there like that, you put us on notice now. So please let us know, because one way or the other, we got to acknowledge Holy Cross after tomorrow, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Man, I thought we were going to go the entire show without bringing that up, but
Well,
No, sir.
so
No,
if you
no.
think about it,
When you go public like that, I'm sorry, you open up that door. No.
if you think about it, Coach Roche did a wonderful job for all the pub. He's been getting Holy Cross for the last week. So great job, Coach Roche, in mentioning Holy Cross.
He's got a beast, Aaron Garcia. Let's give a shout out to the reason he's been able to.
Yes,
Aaron Garcia is
yes.
acting a plum dumb fool over there with the numbers that young man's putting up over there. Man, that guy is destroying everything in his path.
Well,
Offensively, rebounds, he's killing the game right now.
Also,
so let's make sure to give that young man. Let's give that young man some love too.
Let's give Coach Eric Robles some love. That he's part of their staff now. He just signed on. So
congrats, Coach Rob.
So shout out to him and what he's doing. And then my last thing for me, I just want to give a shout out to the Brennan Bears for nationally being ranked by ESPN. I believe they're number 22, if I'm correct. I mean, let me do my homework real quick, and I try to remember things, but as y'all know, my memory.
You know, I'm petty. So while you're looking up that information to confirm it's 22, I feel they should be higher because there's a team on there that ducked playing them.
Ooh, you gonna bring that up?
Damn, Skippy, I'm gonna bring it up.
Bring that up. Ooh, we gonna bring that up.
Skippy, I'm gonna bring it up. We're on here. Our job is to provide info.
That went across the whole social media.
It is what it is. They ducked that game. So for me, I feel that they should have been just a little bit higher. But the fact that they're even there, a much love, kudos.
Hey, Mike, you're right. They should be a little bit higher. They're actually number 21.
There we go.
Again, I said I had to get my info. I had to get my intel. I told you I had to get my intel because I saw that. But I'm just super proud because I thought last year they should have been ranked. I really did. And I don't know if y'all remember, Lake Travis was the first team between Austin and San Antonio to have a team ranked. And then Stony Point came out of nowhere and they got ranked. So to me, it's well overdue. And I know they played a lot of tough games that they were losing, but they were not getting the recognition for playing them and being in them. But again, it is what it is. Now they're getting
they're winning those games now.
Hey, listen.
Kingston just dropped 50 piece on one of their heads on Saturday or Friday.
Remember, I said on the preseason show that this was the year they break through. That was one of my predictions for this year. I said they will break through and they'll win the last game in the Alamo Dome this year. I said that. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. And again, there's nothing wrong with you saying. Honestly, that's the stuff that I want to believe that we should do more of. And there's nothing wrong with us saying, because, we're not coaching and we're not playing. So there's nothing wrong with believing in the kids that we have in front of us that we get to watch every day and train every day and perform every day and say, hey, man, they have a great chance.
They're breaking through. They're breaking through this year. And
it's our job to do that. That's why, that's why we have the list. That's why the list exists.
So speaking of that list, right, there's something I want to touch on before we move on to get to closing thoughts. To the basketball world, right, to the basketball community, take your kids to some of these games. We have a top 3 nationally ranked point guard in our city, right here in our backyard. We have a top 25 nationally ranked basketball team in Brennan, a top team in Antonian. We have top teams of basketball. If you're not pushing and you're not in these gyms, in these field houses, watching these teams, you're wrong. My guru, Boo Man, spoke about the basketball community. It starts here. You've got teams that are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Have them in these gyms. Let them start seeing what that transition from middle school to high school is going to look like, what the coaches look like, what the sets look like. Start letting them see what basketball is about to look like. That's the next wave. So I challenge the basketball community, get these field houses packed. We have a top 3 nationally ranked point guard in our city on a top 25 team in the nation. How are we not, as a city and a community, everywhere that team is playing, making sure that we're providing the support. How are we as a community not backing something as magnifiable as that? Let's get in these buildings and let's support our community. We talk about San Antonio and why people don't come. Let's get behind our people. So that's my challenge that I issue roll into the district's games that are coming around the corner.
Definitely. I agree with that. Now, maybe one of you can answer this question. When we get to the part of the season when we're in the Alamo Dome, that last weekend, how are tickets allotted for that? Does each school get a certain allotment of tickets?
Nah, it's just online. Go get it.
No. Each team gets so many tickets that they get to sell on their part, and then once they sell out, then you got to go to general admission. Yes.
So I'm going to double down. I'm going to double down on Mike. Everything Mike said, which I agree 100% with everything he said as we lead into district and get into district. But I'm going to say, just because I'm confident that Brennan's going to be there in the dome, I'm going to double down. I'm going to challenge everybody. After those allotment of tickets are done, make Brennan have home court advantage in the dome.
Facts.
Well,
Facts.
any of our area teams that make that dome, regional semifinals, finals, and then of course the Final Four, we've got to go support San Antonio, folks. Not just Brennan. We've got to go support San Antonio. The reason I say that, Rich, last year Brennan lost to Stony Point. O'Connor won. Everybody forgot that O'Connor was part of San Antonio. Everybody was talking more about the loss from Brennan and forgot that O'Connor, Cole, and I think SA Vets, those were the last three standing that were still playing. We've got to go support San Antonio, folks.
Oh, definitely. The only reason I mentioned Brennan is because that's the only one I made a prediction on.
Fair enough.
City, like you said earlier, it's up for grabs. And even still, if you look at that top 25 list, I mean, I'm going to go all the way down to 25. O'Connor. Not just because I have personal ties to O'Connor, but just because they're number 25 on this list. At any given moment, a team like O'Connor could surprise a team like Brennan. And it could happen at the right time. So, I mean, that's just the way it is for the city of San Antonio. But like I said, I like what Brennan's doing. I feel like this has been, 3 years in the making here?
Brewing.
Yep, it's been brewing.
Well, real quick, I want to give another shout out to someone that's doing great things in the city also, and that's L.A. Sneed. She hit her 2,000 points, I believe, last night, and I just saw it on my feed here. So shout out to her. And again, I really mean it when I say this. I wish more coaches would try to reach out to us on our social media and let us know so we can celebrate some of these moments with these young people. Just to, again, I have no problem with giving them a 2,000 point ball, a 1,000 point basketball, something, just to recognize these guys and say, hey, thank you, because these things are for the young people, and just to make sure that we're part of what they're doing and letting them know, hey man, thanks for allowing us to be part. And again, it's important. The more media coverage that we have on these young people doing these great things, the more that people can see it and give these young people their just due. Okay?
It's just like their signings, Shout out to L.A. Sneed, just signed with Utah. Kingston just signed with U of H. Two major signings. All the girls programs that we got, if y'all ain't in the gyms watching these games, that just goes back to what I was saying. As a community, like my guru, Boo Man said it most. We're failing as a community. We've got to get behind situations like this, players like this, teams like this, and we as a community have to get back out there. That's where it starts, folks.
Facts. Let's jump into final thoughts. Start with you, Rich. Start with you.
Man, I'm just gonna say this: these kids out there, and it just like Mike said, and he talked about getting in the gym. I mean, when you go to these games and you watch these games night in and night out, I'm gonna tell you right now, I enjoy these games much more than watching the NBA on TV. And why is it? Because these kids play for the love of the sport. They're out there giving it all they got. And we know a lot of these kids have a lot of other things going on, like their studies. Some of them might be even struggling in school a little bit. They're grinding. They're going to. We had an interview with one of my guys this weekend talking about taking tests early so they could go to a tournament. Some of them are going to tutoring. We have all these things going on. So the least we should do as a community, the least we should do is support these kids. Even if you don't have a kid playing on that particular team, just get in the gym. Get in the gym and go watch these kids play, because I guarantee you, you're going to leave the gym impressed and inspired by these kids to see all the work that they're putting in. Not just these teams in the top 25 list here, but every team in the city. Pop in the gym, pop in the Northside gym, pop into Blossom Athletic Center, pop into whatever gym, South San, San Antonio Independent School District, whatever you go watch these kids play. They're putting it on the line, and I'm not okay with half-empty gyms for these kids. I'm going to mention football only because this is where I'm getting at. You go to football stadiums, and they're almost capacity. Let's make it happen for the basketball players too. That's not really an inspirational final thought. That's just more of me doubling down again on what Mike said.
Okay, good stuff. Mike?
My final thought is, as we get ready for the Thanksgiving break, my final thoughts: academics. Make sure that you're on top of your schedules, because when you get back from this Thanksgiving break and that district schedule hits, right, it's gonna be moving. Stay on top of your grades. Don't fall through the cracks. And then, of course, it's at this time of year, your health, right? Your nutrition, your hydration. And then I want to add something, and I got this from my guru as well. We talk about rest, but we don't talk about recovery. Your rest and recovery, they go hand in hand. If you're going hard, you've got to give your body that same application of recovery as you give when you're pushing through your workouts. So during this course of time, make sure that you're putting in the work, you're putting in the time, but make sure you're giving your bodies that rest and recovery as well, because we want everybody healthy. We want to, when we have the games of the week, we're getting into December and January and February. We don't want to see teams without their guys per injury. I know there's some things that are just for Gaxons that can't control, but control what you can control. So please get your rest, please get your recovery, hydration, nutrition, and take care of those academics, folks. That's all I got.
And awesome. Mine is very simple. To everyone that supports the Super Sports Media family, thank you. Without you, we would not be able to do and deliver the information that we're delivering and sharing with everyone. So I thank you. Again, I just can't say it enough, because I love how the basketball community has accepted and embraced us, and just continue to allow us to come in these gyms and get the information. Again, going from a guy who just wanted to cover basketball to now we're getting invited to actually be part of tournaments, to me, that's special. Walking and hearing parents talk to you about their kid and just reference to say, hey, listen, hey, I saw you had Coach V on the show. What is that all about? I see information about a program like a Follow Through or SA Premier. What's that all about? Just hearing that and just being part of that, I just say thank you to the San Antonio community. And once again, you have not proved me wrong. We're all about trust and giving people a chance. And San Antonio is one of the best cities that give that opportunity. And Eric Talley would like to say thank you. Yes, I did speak in third person, and I wanted to make sure everybody knows that. Thank you. That's all I have, fellas. Rich, take us home.
The only person I've ever heard talk about themselves in the third person is
Stop that. Don't start, man.
Stephen A. Smith. Man.
Take us home, Rich, please.
I'm going to take us home. But again, I just want to remind Mike, you talked about taking care of yourself and rest and recovery. Let's practice what we preach here, because I know you're going to be antsy pretty soon. Get that recovery, get healthy. We need you in the basketball community. So continue to get your rest and recover and get healthy as soon as possible. We look forward to seeing you out on the streets again. And we look forward to seeing you in the gym again. So remember, fellas, like we always like to remind everybody, be kind to one another. It doesn't cost a dime.
Hey, Sunday, we got a special edition. I can't make this ish up on Sunday. I don't want to ruin today's show with it, but Sunday, we got some stuff I got to let go.
Oh, Lord. Can somebody tell the audience to like, share, and subscribe, and also leave comments, please?
Please like, share, subscribe, because Mike didn't say it today.
He didn't, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all not on your A game.
The only way that we can afford to get these nice Super Sports Media t-shirts is if you like, share, and subscribe. That way we can bring more content like this.
Exactly. Thanks, fellas.
All right, fellas. You have a great night.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right. Take care, Eric.
All right, you too, guys. Be good. I'll talk to y'all later.